We got a rapid fire moment going on here, ladies. And I don't know, like, if you can see how badass, first of all, this Mel is. So pumped. Mel, are you ready for rapid fire?
Oh, I am 100% ready. Bring it.
Bring it. Okay. 25 questions. Rapid fire means rapid answers. If you are stuck, you just say pass. Your goal is to get through it as fast as you can with no passes. Cool?
Got it.
All right. I'm going to count us down from 5, and then I'm going to go with your first question. Ready?
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What was your first job?
Cashier at a deli.
What is your favorite month?
October.
What is your favorite season?
Fall.
What is your favorite animal?
Liger.
What is your favorite color?
Teal and aqua, baby.
What is your favorite food?
Ooh, spicy.
What is your favorite word?
Mofo.
What word do you hate hearing?
Cannot.
What word do you have a hard time pronouncing?
Ooh, I don't know. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
Who do you text most?
My husband.
What has been your favorite age so far?
Oh, I say right now, 50s, baby.
What is your go-to lazy dinner?
Anything frozen from Costco.
What is your favorite thing to do in the summertime?
Hike.
How often do you floss your teeth?
A couple of times a week at least.
Do you have pets?
Cat.
Do you have kids?
Step.
Are you married?
Yes.
Love or friendship?
They're the same.
Money or happiness?
Oh, happiness every time.
Cats or dogs?
Yes.
Which one do you like, cats or dogs?
I like them both. They're both great.
What is the best advice you ever received?
Oh, wow. Pick up your pieces and move on.
What do you wish you learned sooner?
Mindset, work.
What is your deepest fear?
Not helping others.
What is your biggest flaw?
Boundaries.
What is your favorite holiday food?
Pecan pie.
Nice. Woohoo! Rapid fire complete with Mel and Tracy. Love it, Mel. You're a rock star. Thanks for being such a good sport. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Rock on. Y'all tune into the summit.
Cheers, Bella.
Did she say Liger?
I don't know what that is.
Oh my God, I do.
I don't. What is
Napoleon Dynamite, which was like this epic cult movie. If you know, favorite animal of Pedro's, or was it Napoleon's?
I love that movie. That's a ridiculous movie.
Oh, it's awesome. So it's a cross between a lion and a tiger. And if that's what you said, I love you even more.
We'll get Mel to clarify that because Mel's friggin' really cool. Bros, Liger is the best. She just wrote in the comments. Oh my gosh, amazing.
He said Liger.
Oh my gosh. Like I literally, I don't know. What did you do on lunch break? What did you do?
For joy. We remember everyone was going to do something joyful. I went for a walk. And then like I said to Archer in the chat, I had to clean all his poop off of Pepper's ass. So that was my lunch hour. But I also ate and I went for a walk.
Yay. I went and hung out with my daughter for a bit and then my husband. So my husband is an amazing chef. And
yes, he is. Oh my God, you guys.
He is, right? When people come to our parties, they don't eat for a day because they know the food's going to be like all fresh, all real. So he made me this beautiful platter with like picture this, like one row of salad. Then there was a row with like this, what is it? Couscous and this beautiful chicken medley. And then I forget, there was other things. I just went all in and ate it. And it was so good. And there is nothing that brings me more joy than when people make food for me.
Well, then Herb is your joy purveyor because
he's
always making delicious meals for you.
Always. And my daughter's like, Daddy, like he treats you a bit like a princess. I'm like, all right, I'll own it. I will own that. when it comes to food, yes. So that brought me joy. And I just, really like went out and shared with all the beautiful speakers so far how amazing they are. And
I know. Oh, wait, what did everyone else do for joy? Write it in the comments.
yeah, write it in the comments.
Did Herb make you a delicious lunch? Likely not, but get to be really close with Tracy and he will.
Right? If you live close to me, you can come over. I will open up my house to you. Absolutely. And I also, what brought me joy was I thought of 3 new ways I can support women.
Hello.
Can't share them yet, but there's 3 beautiful things I'm going to be talking about, and I'm so excited. And
share.
That's above and beyond the events that I'm having planning the next few months. So it's just, but that's what brings me joy, is coming up with new ways to celebrate women like we are here, and new ways to help women in our beautiful get out of her damn way container, which you're not going to want to leave, by the way, because like, this is just like, would you like this extended? Like, extended and extended and extended. I'm just wondering, like, because the reason why that's important is what did we talk about today, Jen? Why would that be important?
Community accountability, like, I mean, and staying in the energy, so you're making decisions for you.
That clock, right?
Yeah.
The default clock. You want to change your default clock. And the more you're in the energy of things that are going against the default, you're going to be able to change that default clock. And you're going to be able to actually do a reset, right? Do a reset. Like Ariel talked about those things, right? We need to make sure we're doing all of those things that she talked about. She talked about, I don't know if you remember, I need to go into all my notes. I have
Are you talking about the 5 core values? I have them.
Not the 5 core values. I'm talking about pick your poison.
Oh, right.
Pick your poison. Not too many. So not too many of those. And don't do them very often. So we need to choose and call it what it is. Not too often, not too many. And then she said reset often.
Is wine a poison?
Yeah. Well, is wine anything that doesn't nurture you and your cells? Like, I don't think your cells need wine.
Probably not.
No. So it's just, this is all like the direct loving and honest with ourselves. I lived in avoidance mode most of my life. I didn't want to see it because I didn't want to deal with it. And I figured I'd stop looking at it. It'll just go away. And that certainly didn't happen.
It never does.
So what we need to know is if we aren't going to avoid anymore, if we make a decision, maybe your decision is I'm not avoiding that anymore, then what am I going to do to help me become less avoidance and step in and reclaim my power? And that's when we really, really want to call on people that we were creating in this. This is the most powerful women's circle that's going to continue to grow, because we're going to add more women to the circle of support, right? So just keep that in mind. If you're a woman here that is watching this and you want to be part of this women of support and circle, you're going to want to reach out to me, because I'm here to tell you, I'm already making big plans for next year. And this is going to be really, really exciting. So there's going to be an opportunity for you to capture that idea sooner than later. And I'll keep you posted on that. Okay. Mel Trump, beg to differ. Okay. We have got an amazing person coming in right now. I did not know this incredible being until the summit. And I was fixated on a certain part of her that I'm sure you're going to understand when you see her. You may have seen the picture of her.
Was it her glasses?
Yes, her glasses. The color, and I mean, who can pull those off? Actually, I feel like you can pull those off, Jen. You're kind of that woman. You're the colorful, like you and Mel actually in a room would be nuts. Like there, you need to wear those right now while you introduce Mel.
Okay.
That's like, there's a very cool factor about Mel. Like, I don't have that cool factor. I'm cool with that, but she's really got this cool factor. And get ready to write down her one-liners, because she has some amazing ones. I'm not even going to tell you because I want to see if she drops them today. Okay, so Mel's in the house. Jen, bring it home to Mel.
Let's do it. These are in honor of you, Mel. I wish they were the same color, but listen, we're just channeling energy.
Channeling the Mel.
Mel Trumbull is a life-transforming force and the founder of ZFG Living LLC. Mel's mission is empowering individuals to unleash their authentic joy. Drawing from her journey of overcoming abuse, traumas, and limiting beliefs, Mel shares insights and wisdom on what it takes to live life to the fullest. Through her life coaching programs, podcast, and the Big Book of Bad Ideas book series, Note to Self, Mel leads the way for people everywhere to heal their past, challenge their limiting beliefs, and create a life of joy and authenticity. Let's go, Mel!
What?
Hello. Good to be here.
An intro like that before, Mel.
It's gorgeous. And quite frankly, the shades are what made it.
Right? We had to channel you, man. We had to channel you. Okay. Before we start, you need to tell everyone what ZFG means.
So ZFG is 0 F's given. F is spelled F asterisk CK. Keeping it PG, baby. And what that is your resources. And when I say ZFG, I mean, don't give yourself away. Because I was raised in the Deep South. So I grew up to be a shadow human just to support others, right? And I just gave all of my resources, my time, my attention, my care. I set up businesses for ex-husbands as if it were my job. And once I realized the commonality, when the ex-husbands became plural, I was like, oh, yeah, that's me. I'm the common denominator. Humble pie for everyone. And so I just realized you can't give yourself away. And then I got into understanding how to actually rewrite the subconscious script, as opposed to, talk therapy and meds, because don't worry, I've also got just a host of mental situations, ADHD, suicidal depressive, generalized anxiety disorder, just whatever. Let's go with the TISM. It's all there. And when you have that, it's easy to be like, well, this is how I am. And this is how life is. And the fact of it, that is a lie, because life is everything and it's always all around us. So if you want to focus on the craptasticness, aces, guess what? Each day is going to suck just like the day before. However, if you want to look for some joy and plant some joy bombs in your environment, like I'm just looking up at all these amazing paper flowers that I make. I mean, fire hazard, perhaps, and yet gorgeous, and they make me smile. So when you can alter your environment, which if you've got thumbs, come on, let's do it. Just put something in that makes you happy, that you're delighted to see. It can be a photograph, it can be a color. I mean, this color makes me happy. So guess what? this will be it, But yeah, ADHD, did I mention that? I don't know. I was saying something and I'm sure it was really profound. So back to you.
Everything you say is profound. I actually get like as an interviewer, I have to really not become too immersed in what you're saying, because I lose myself. Just so you know, I do lose myself. You captivate me. And I think I shared this with you when we were chatting before. I mean, you captivated me when I saw you on the screen with all the other women that were looking into becoming a speaker. And you were just like, yep, doing it. And you're a force. You're a force, and you've got serious grit. And you're from the South, you said? You were raised in the South. Yeah. So I guess, you probably ate grits. Do you eat grits in the South? I don't know.
Heck yeah, you eat grits.
Grits
in Canada?
I don't think I've ever had grits before, but I need to come to the South and have some grits. So, okay. I'm just when I was thinking about you coming on today and the things that Asil also said when it comes to money following joy, I was like, how perfect is it that Mel is kicking off her afternoon? Like joy, unleash your joy and live your badassery. Did the universe line this up? Literally, this is too freaking perfect. And through all your funny, absolute love, all the things you share, there is this deep, nourishing, beautiful wisdom that it's if we can just captivate some of that into our own lives, because you say it with such rooted confidence because you've lived
Yeah.
it, Mel. You've lived these
Yeah.
shifts. Can we just talk a little bit about that? Because I know we say so many things, but we want to be able to share a story that can help people start to step into their own story with your story. So can you share like maybe one nugget of how you got out of your damn way and how you really were able to unleash that joy, live your badassery in your own life?
Oh, absolutely. So for me, it started young. I was a lightning rod. I was a climber. I always wanted to get away from crowds and people and things that overstimulated me. And so in kindergarten, we were being taught what our last names were, which I was just like, my name is Melissa. What is all this trash that this lady is talking about? And so she's explaining very patiently, like, okay, so there's another name. So people might say your name and then say the next thing. And I was like, oh, duh, you should have explained that. My last name is, God damn it. Because I grew up hearing, Melissa, God damn it, get out of that tree. Melissa, God damn it, you're covered in blood. Like just left and right. Because my parents, by the way, were 19 and 20 when I was born. So spoiler alert, don't do that. Don't do that to your kids. If you can. Come on. And we can now. Or for the time being anyway. Thank you. GOP. But my point, and I do have one, is that when we innately understand how to laugh at ourselves, because I said it, was I going to a Catholic grade school? Yes, indeed I was. Was all the children were horrified. And for me, I'm just like, oh, okay, read the room. What? I'm 5 years old. And then to understand what a goof that was and laugh your ass off. I mean, that was hilarious. Like Mrs. Atkinson looked stricken. She like all color left her face. And I was just like, oh, is this a heart attack? Huh. Like what's happening? But, and it doesn't matter if you're 5 or 54, because 54, you're like last week years old when I was perhaps eating a egg flauta from Costco. So fucking good. And keto. And so I have my salsa, so I'm going to dip it. And I don't know, there was something annoying me. And so I just moved my hand in a way that the whole salsa thing just like flew at me and it looked like I'd been shot. Like I had to march downstairs, do some laundry. I've told the story 800 zillion times. If folks have heard it, mea culpa, but it really did look like I was an extra on CSI or something. And the ability to not get annoyed when that kind of stuff happens, because years ago I would have been
big.
Yeah. Just like bam. Like I could go to rage. No time needed. No time. It was like that was the flip side of every coin for me. And it's because of having a crummy background, not being raised right. That we all know our parents didn't raise us right. Okay, well, guess what? We're now old enough to vote, so we get to pick up the pieces and figure out how we're going to put them back together and do that with love and compassion in our heart for ourselves, for them, and for everyone, because we're all just trying to get through the freaking day. No one's out here trying to, waylay your carefully orchestrated plan. And if you do have a carefully orchestrated plan, please DM me because I need help in that arena, like bad. But if you give people grace and you give yourself the grace to understand that we're all just fumbling around, like we're in the rock tumbler of humanity, just banging against each other, knocking off edges, maybe sharpening some edges, and just trying to get through it. And so to step back and look at where you are and look around you and see, yes, there are slithering snakes and evil and badness and despair and sadness and melancholy and all the things. And there's also humor and helpfulness and resourcefulness. You can pick whatever level of adjective suits you.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be like, I'm a badass. And that is the energy that I inhabit. You don't have to be like that. No. You can be kind.
Yep.
There's room for all of us. And there are innumerable positive ways to describe ourselves, as well as positive things to see out there in this, crazy nutso world. It's always been there. There's always been the wars and the power struggles and, oppression and all of the things. And that's okay.
So good, Mel. Like really, really, like what's really hitting home for me right now is, well, I love that you said, I'm now old enough to vote. We all need to write that down and put that on a freaking t-shirt or a candle or whatever lights you up, because it's so true, right? We have to stop acting like we are still that child who wasn't able to maybe think she had a choice or he had a choice to vote. We have a choice. We know that now. And
Yep.
and we're the only, that vote, our vote is the only one that counts, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Yes, right. But then I love you're talking about, yes, all these things maybe happened, or yes, all these things are going on around us. We have to choose the set of lenses we want to look at things through. And it doesn't mean toxic positivity. It means, like, when I think about my childhood and all this stuff, and then if I really go back and look at some pictures, there's some beautiful moments in my childhood that I know brought me a lot of joy. So why don't
100%.
focus on some of those things too? Because that's all part of the mix. Like, really, truly, there are beautiful pockets of joy in everything that we do. And I love that you share that, because, we just have to start focusing on seeing that instead of seeing the ugly and seeing the other. And it's not even ugly. It's how there's no ugly, really. It's how we choose to look at it, I guess.
It's all just energy, right? It's all just energy.
Yes.
And just like a tree doesn't know the difference between, wind versus sun versus water, it's going to use all of it. And we get to use what's in our world. And we also get to put stuff in our world.
Ooh.
And the number one thing we get to do is just please give this a whirl. It's so juicy and lovely. When you're waking up and it's that like sort of dusky dawny, like, whoa, am I drunk? Am I sleeping? What's happening? I can't move my arm.
Go to the bathroom. You're like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then think about what truly lights you up. I mean, what just tickles you pink, makes you so excited, whether and it can be like French fries. It doesn't have to be profound, but what really, really sends you over the moon in gratitude and happiness and satisfaction and all the good stuff. And then brace yourself for how you're going to belly laugh today.
Oh, that's
because that is like drugs. I mean, there's a reason I love being funny. I love twists of phrase. I naturally say things in a weird way. And so I just roll with it. It's just because of how I'm wired. And it also makes me physically feel really good. And it puts your chin up. And I mean, there's science behind it. Like people who look up and over, that affects your outlook. It affects your health. It brings everything up to a beautiful new level of positivity and optimism just by physically put your chin up.
Wow.
It's wackadoo. Do it for 10 minutes and then see how you feel. Like, write how you're feeling and then do it for 10 minutes. And then you're just going to be like, mother, like, who knew I had that power to change the channel like that,
That's so
and we
huge.
do.
Like having these valuable little resources. I mean, I'm literally thinking, okay, so if all of us on our way, we all wake up. I mean, I wake up in the middle in the morning and you're like you said, you're not quite awake and you just like channel what brings you joy. Just think right? Like what will we ask ourselves? Do we just say to ourselves like what brings me joy right now? Or what like because just you want to start to feel into that, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be complex. It can be
the cozy slippers I just put my feet into. That brings me joy.
There you go. It can be a color. It can be a hug from whomever, and then you get to think about that and relive it in your mind so that it is happening right now. Because lizard brain doesn't know the difference. They're just going to be like, yahoo, joy. Here's some endorphins. Pow.
Lizard brain. Oh my gosh. This is so good. You have such a beautiful way of just, turning the page on how we all are so wired to think in the morning.
And it's effort. It does take effort, but it doesn't have to be hard.
Right.
Because think about back to the lizard brain, right? Lizard brain's looking out for, I mean, when you could die from tetanus in like 10 minutes, okay? Like that's when our brains were evolving. So everything looks dangerous. Everything looks scary. Everything is negative because that would keep you alive. That's what kept your ancestors alive leading up to who you are. Yeah. Well, guess what? There's no saber-toothed tigers in my neighborhood. I don't know about Canada. Y'all don't have grits. So honestly, I have no idea what's up there. But whether it's feeling like somebody's going to laugh at us, that's just as scary to that brain as being kicked out of the tribe, which means that you would thirst and starve to death.
Right.
If you even made it to that without just being eaten by some animal. And so when we say the stakes aren't that high, I mean, maybe logically, but subconsciously, the stakes are that high.
Really that high. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, every time we don't actually take a look at them, that wall gets thicker and thicker and higher and higher. And we basically are just creating this, like this little circle or box around us. That's like, holy shit. Like, where do I go now? Like, where do I go now? I need someone to knock this wall down with me. And this is so insanely powerful. Like, okay. You've shared some of these golden nuggets, like in different ways, but you take this really cool approach, a blended approach to when you support a client. So using that example of, fear of doing something maybe big with my life. And I really hope that all the women watching this summit are going to make a decision to take the first step to doing something big in their life. Even if you think where you are now is big, there's bigger. Like there always is bigger. Like when do you stop? Like when my heart stops, hopefully that's how I die. Like Ariel suggested, that's how we should all leave this world. It's just our heart stopping. Then I take it to the next life. But right now, a woman has challenges and she's like wanting to do something and she's feeling the judgment. She's feeling the comparison mode. She's feeling all these fears. There's no saber-toothed tiger in her backyard, but she's feeling like there is. How do you use this blended approach? And what is that blended approach to actually help her move through that?
So the first thing is skills, because when we do feel overwhelmed or we feel like, we're not worth whatever whatever that juicy life is that you're wishing you were good enough for, whatever that means, why we do that to ourselves. But, the first thing, you got to get some breathwork skills so that you can reset that limbic system and get out of whether it's anxiety or panic or fight, flight, freeze, fawn, just so that you can be like, okay, now I'm here. I have thoughts. I have feelings. They do not run the show. They are in my control. And then when you can physically get that, cortisol, hideous hormone, get that leveled out, and get some calm, then you can think, because when you're activated emotionally, I mean, I'm not making my best choices. Come on. Like, that's why when we're in love with someone, we do such dumb stuff because we're just like overwhelmed with emotion. And in the meantime, like we can't remember how to count or, whatever needs to happen. So we have a reasonable.
Oh my God. I never thought about it like that. That's amazing.
And also that's also an addiction. The Female Brain by Luann Brizadine, I'm probably butchering how you say her name, talks about that. Like we get this potent cocktail and it just overrides everything. So the trick is to find out what works for you, to press pause, take a moment, recognize that you have emotions. You're not one with them. There's a lovely saying about feelings coming upon us. And so the feeling is the feeling. And it comes upon us and we can experience it and we can observe ourselves experiencing it and we can love ourselves the whole time. And if you're having trouble having an open heart to some things that you're maybe feeling or, being triggered by, and you're, maybe angry with yourself, or we can be really, really hard on ourselves, right? Oh. Think of your sweetie pie little kid self as young as you can remember. Mm-hmm. And really hug and love and be so brave with that little kid until she knows that whatever she feels and however she thinks, it's okay. Mm-hmm. And she still has love because we love ourselves. Mm-hmm. And once you get in the habit of going to that place, man, integration is not far behind.
Instant joy. That's instant joy.
Yeah.
That feels like 100%. Instant joy to me.
Yeah. Joy is always around us. It's just like that lovely Cherokee fable about there being two wolves. One is love and, all the good stuff. And the other one is fear and hate. and the bad stuff. And so which one is going to thrive? The one you feed, man. The one you feed. And we feed our minds all the time with everything we see, with all the, whatever you're looking at on your phone, whatever you're hearing. If there's, some big heavy truck that goes by and it's like jarring, all of these things go in, and we get to focus on what we want to focus on.
Mhm.
I'm extremely sensitive to noise. I walked to the library this morning and some fool was backing through a parking lot with this big old truck, and I like, it scared it freaked me out. Well, I got to practice box breathing. That's one of the breathing exercises that's my go-to. It's when you breathe in for a slow actual second count, 4 seconds, hold it for 4, release for 4, and hold for 4.
Yeah.
You do that 2, 3, just keep doing it until it resets. It is
Your breath
That's
is
as good
your
as it-
medicine. Your breath is your
oh,
medicine.
it's huge medicine.
I do breath work in a salt cave. It's pretty darn cool. A big salt cave. It's
that's awesome.
relying on salt. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's very cool.
What does that do to your skin? I have so many questions.
So, I'm on a yoga mat on the salt.
Okay.
Yes, but
All
you're
right.
walking on. It's like a big Himalayan salt. There's
That's
like a
amazing.
waterfall in it. It's so beautiful. Yeah. And I'm like you. I get very impacted by smells and by noises. Like it was interesting in the rapid fire. A lot of women said they love classical. That was like when I asked them their music of their genre of music, because some of them had that question, and a lot of women said classical music. And I wonder if like all of these things have an energy to it, right? So that must impact your energy that makes you kind of go. That like.
And the other thing about I was going to say for classical music, it also has tempo changes so that you can't get into that sort of robotic rhythm of modern music because it just is changing. And that's just it's kind of like balancing on one leg. It just keeps you agile and it keeps you going. I mean, having said that, do I listen to classical music? I like swing dancing.
But if it does, sure, right? But I mean, I guess we kind of need to have our like our joy bucket. Like what's in your joy bucket you can reach in and grab when you need it, right? And so what let's talk about how can we bring more joy into our life. I mean, you've
be intentional about it.
Be intentional. Okay.
Just I mean, you have to really see the person that isn't scowling and isn't just like grinding their teeth, whatever your stress go-to is. Like I ground my teeth so bad, I almost broke one in half. Like, I mean, and I'm not coming at this like I've always been such a well-adjusted person. Please. Yeah. No. Hot mess express right here. But when you figure out like, hang on a second, I just had a really great day. I bet I could string some of these together. Oh, I am in charge of this shenanigan, I mean, within reason, right? I still have bad wiring, but we can choose what, how to turn. What are we looking at? What are we taking in? Are we watching grisly, scary, suspenseful things that makes our heart race and gets us all amped up and gets the cortisol rolling? Are we, or does that actually release endorphins for us because we have such an amazing, ability to like, solve the crime? There's just different things and there's no one way for anyone.
Yes.
And if we could stop thinking that there's a right way to do living, that's the biggest pack of lies ever. There isn't. I mean, unless don't kill people. That's okay, cool. Don't hurt others. And let's back that up. Don't hurt yourself.
Yes. Oh gosh, so good.
I'm not going to reverberate in fear and anxiety because I like used the wrong word or something while I'm speaking. Please, I'd never have time to do anything else. I'd be like, well, yeah, okay, we'll shelve that. I got to go do my podcast episode or, and busy works for some people, being works for others. It's just, that's why you mentioned about how I use a lot of different methods and modalities, because different people respond to different things
Yeah.
and at different times and
Yeah.
for different topics.
Yeah.
If someone's grew up being sexually abused, then I'm not going to use a lot of romantic imagery until I find out what their jam is, because I've lived that. It sucks. And you have to put yourself back together in a way that allows you to see the positive aspects of it. That, because for years, decades, every time I saw an adult with a kid, I was just like, poor kid.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately. And I do think a lot more kids are abused in that way than we think, just anecdotally from talking to people and having so many people say, I never told anybody this, but which, instead of focusing on that and bringing me down, I get to focus on the fact that I can help these people, because I am very candid, whether it's in my books or when I'm speaking or when I'm having individual like DMs and conversations with people.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a contest. And there's always somebody who had it way worse and you might feel is doing better than you are. But then you have the person who's, doing, oh, Mel, you're doing so great. And I'm just like, really? Cool. You know what I mean?
I'll take that. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Like, there really isn't just one way. And I think that we step into, whatever we want to do next. Maybe we want to become a coach in this way, or maybe we want to become a doctor, or maybe we want to step into just anything that we're following our joy in. And we think that there's only one way to do it. There's our way to do it, and our way is unique. And maybe even like, I don't know. I was going to say something and I just lost it now. That's okay. But
that's weird. I can't relate at all, Tracy. Like, that's just so foreign to me. No, said no, never. Yeah, I feel you 100%.
I think everybody has a little bit of ADHD in them somewhere. I think that is just a normal thing. I mean, like, really, like,
things fly away.
You can just focus. Things fly away. But the uniqueness of us is, think what we have to start really embodying and looking at, like, looking for the joy in life. Not, and if you're not finding it, then say, okay, like, I don't feel joyful today. So do I want to hold on to that? Or do I want to just be like, I want to let that shit go and use some simple things? Like, I mean, it always comes back to reconnecting with self, right? Like, I mean, even putting your hand on your heart can just make you remember, like, you're actually here. You're here. You got this, right? And
you're on the right track with movement. Yeah. Because when we move, whether it's just, kind of like going from side to side, stomping around a little bit, rolling our shoulders, anything like that will aid us in, I call it jagged energy. When we just have that, like, it's like static TV, it's just, and we just can't settle into ourselves. So, okay, give yourself 10 minutes, do some push-ups, take a walk, drink some water, say, pray, however it is that you do that, whether it's standing in nature, actually with words, focus on someone that you love and you want to help. Yeah. And just send them energy. It's free.
It's free. Yeah. I find the most joyful thing for me is really just, and it's kind of reframing. Sometimes I'll even, like, there'll be someone that maybe, like, I didn't like how they sent me a message or something in that instant. And then I go back and I reread it over again and I read it from a different set of lenses. I'm like, oh, why did I think that they were saying that? And it was because that's where my head was at the time when I read it. And I'm like, well, shit. And then I send them back a beautiful message and I feel this rush of happiness and joy just flood my whole body.
100%. If we could, please, let's all stop assigning reasons for why people do their dumbassery. Like, there doesn't have to be a reason. They could have gotten lukewarm coffee or tea and just be in a Grinch. It just, everybody's got something going on. Yeah. It's not about us.
No, it's not about you at all. They're not even thinking about you. They're just doing what they're doing in that moment, right? And hopefully it's a response and not a reaction, but sometimes we get caught up in reaction and we go back and, you screw up, you F up, okay, move on. Yeah. Go back and fix it up, clean up your mess if you need to, or just learn from that and don't do it again, right? And I think I'm hoping that women are realizing the mess is done. Like, it's time for you to move on from the mess and just start to step into what's next, and know that you're amazing just how you are. When you've got people in your corner that can help you navigate this newness, this new ideas of what you want, that's what we all need. We all need someone in our corner, Mel. We need someone in the corner. Like the most successful people, they've got loads of people in their corner. That's why
it's their support.
Yeah, they're fully supported. But they didn't get that handed to them on a silver platter. They had to actually find.
They created it.
Intentionally, they created it. 100%.
100%. Yeah. And we can create that for ourselves, and we can surround ourselves with people who are where we want to be.
Yeah.
We don't have to already have everything figured it out in order to get associated with people who are doing whatever it is that we want. And we also get to say, I forgive myself, instead of I'm sorry.
At the end of every day, I forgive myself for all of the times I fell from grace today. You know, I do. I show myself love, compassion at the end of the day, and I say, I'll see the new you tomorrow.
Exactly. 100%. And we're all bumbling around. For the 4 people on the planet that have it figured out, good for them. Number one. And recognize that they're the outliers. That's some fringe of the bell curve action right there. You know, everyone's in the middle, and then there's like 4 people here and 4 people there. And they're like the ones who have nothing figured out, and then the ones who have everything figured out. And it's all okay.
It is all okay.
We're just all together in the middle. And whether that's how you feel about yourself, you know, and struggling with feelings of worthiness, being worthwhile, being worthy of love, being worthy of, you know, having big dreams or having any dreams, or taking control over something. Because just because something's scary doesn't mean it's wrong.
Right.
And that's confusing for people who have, you know, maybe have their PhD in trauma, you know, because my stomach would turn over anything. Like, do you want ice in your water? Oh my God. I was just perpetually in a state of panic. And so to be able to release that and to figure out how to physically get this machine, this gorgeous bag of like electrolytes and water and lightning and all the things to serve us, we can do that. We can absolutely 100% take control of the ship.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You're amazing. Woo! So many amazing moments. I have just so many things. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see where all of this takes you and I feel like, yeah. And the stage is calling your name. Like, you need to have your own, I don't want to call it a comedy show, but you have a comedic space in your heart that allows people to feel like they can do it because they can laugh at themselves through the process. And that is a really
laughter
thing.
I do use it with my clients too, because if you're laughing, you disarm the defense mechanism that's going to put the wall up. And so then some of it just comes in and, I made a breakthrough. Hey,
yeah. Woohoo. Well, speaking of breakthroughs, we got a breakout session happening with Mel. Go in, see her, links in the Facebook group. Go grab Mel for the next 15 minutes. You're amazing, Mel. I freaking love you. I'm so glad that you said yes to this summit. You're one of the first women. I appreciate you. I'm thankful. You're awesome.
Absolutely, Tracy. Right back at you. Thank you for putting this gorgeous thing together.